Well, good afternoon. So today I'm going to show you how to make this fire starter with just an egg carton, dryer lint, and the remnants of an old candle. And I know there's nothing new about this basic fire starter. You can find these tutorials all over the internet. But the way I do it, you can light it with just a Ferro searing rod. So that's what we're going to cover today. So the first step is to melt the candle wax. So I usually do that I take an old pot that I don't cook food in anymore, just in case I get any wax in it. Fill it maybe with an inch of water, just a little bit more than the wax we have left. There's maybe 3/4 of an inch here. So an inch of water should work just fine. I'm going to turn this on, and then I'm immediately going to put the candle in here, just so that I don't want to shock the glass and crack it in there or anything. So I'll slowly bring that up to temperature. You don't really want a rolling boil because it'll kind of bounce the glass around a bit. I usually just kind of bring it to a simmer, and that usually works just fine. So we'll let that boil, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, it's simmering now. You can hear the glass kind of hitting the bottom, so I'm just going to turn that down to low, let it simmer until it melts, and then we'll go back to the table. Okay, so the wax is done. I'm going to place that there. I have this extra piece of cardboard here just to put the egg carton on, so when we pour the wax in, it doesn't drip onto the table below it. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is, let's just start off by putting a little bit of lint in each section here. So the way I do it, I like to make sure the lint on one side of the fire starter is kind of high, and on the other side it's not. Just like this. You can see it's high on this side and low over here. I probably only have enough wax here for 6, so we'll call that good for now. So then now the only thing you need to do is pour the wax in. Now, like I said, to make sure you have enough lint that's not saturated, you want to make sure you pour it on the low side of the lint. So I'm going to go like this, pour it in. I'll move on to the next one. Make sure they're all about even. The more wax, the longer it burns, so that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so we used all that up. We'll set that aside, and now we just need to let these harden, and then we'll go ahead and try one out. And here we are. They're all done and hardened, so you can see we got plenty of lint over there that's not saturated that we can light. So I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to light it with the striker, and then we will see how long it burns for. So I'm going to put a time on the screen of how long it will burn, but I'm going to speed the video up, but I will also speed the timer up in the sped up video, so it will be an accurate reflection of how long this burns for. So let's give it a try. Well, there you have it. So about a 14-minute burn time with just that small amount of wax in the bottom of that. So
in my experience, they usually don't burn that long if you're making a fire around it, because if you're building a fire around it, it's going to get much hotter down there and burn it much faster. Still, 14 minutes gives you a lot of time to fool around when you're trying to make a fire, and if you mess up a couple of times, there's plenty of room to try again. So I think that's pretty good for that small amount of wax. So I usually take these out with me every time I go, because my bushcraft skills aren't great. I can't always start a fire with just a striker and birch bark or something that you find just in the wild. So I usually keep a couple fire starters along with this ferro rod in a waterproof container, so that if it does get wet or something, it's not a big deal, especially since we're on the boat and on out by the water. But if you decide to make one of these at home, well, let me know how it goes, and thank you a lot.